God bless. October 1st. I can hear the wind and the leaves. Yeah, really smooth. Anyways, peace, love, and happiness, abundance of joy, and stay woke. You know, that's the real lesson in today is just for all the people out there. You know, things are changing. You know, things are changing so rapidly. I can't even explain everything, but it's just changing. You can see the Fed moving up and down with their rate hikes, and emergency meeting all of a sudden on Monday, which is like the day after tomorrow. Bank of England seems to be going back on their stance, you know, their firm stance on interest rate hikes, following suit of the Federal Reserve, obviously, you know, and that's it, you know. So what does that tell us? That tells us that something's happening, right? Things are changing. It's not going to happen overnight, but you know, eventually, you know, I'm just basically trying to put out some information here and there, right? Because it doesn't make sense keeping information to oneself if you know things, right? Because that doesn't benefit oneself, you know. So it's sharing knowledge. It's helping everybody. Just give, you know, an ingredient which you know, everyone can take that and go to the next level and do their own research. You know, none of this is financial advice, but you're living through some very strange times. We came through a pandemic. People have changed since the pandemic, you know, began. A lot of people are stressed. A lot of people lost jobs. A lot of people went through ups and downs, pits and valleys, rough times, personally, professionally, all of that, right? And then they come back out into the open and everything is great, you know, fine dining, fine whining, and everything seems okay. But people still psychologically has changed, right? It's good to be back into the thick of things where you can go to games and events and be with everyone. And I'm not sure how the younger generation has taken all of this, but I think they're pretty resilient and they're just enjoying their time out there as well. So, you know, the economics of the world has certainly changed, and you know, we'll see more things crumble before, you know, everything gets better again, I guess, right? But crypto being, you know, Bitcoin being 13 years old and having its own evolution, you know, challenges and stuff like that, you know, in the eco space. So, you know, Bitcoin Cash being a fork of Bitcoin, of course, Ethereum, and then Ethereum Classic. Like, I think everybody gets the picture, right? So these are technologies that are already in place, and when you see fiat money being backed by really nothing and just your economy for your country, it's not like back in the 70s where fiat money was backed by perhaps gold, right? All the countries, all the central banks are scrambling right now to decide. And when we read about Bitcoin a long time ago, I'm talking about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we knew that the central banks would be in a position of difficulty, and they would try to create a central bank dollar, the CBDC or something like that, right? Central bank digital dollar. And each central bank, each country will end up creating a digital dollar, and that's been completed by China, as far as I know. And but at the end of the day, why are you trying to mimic something that's been, you know, already created with the transparency? But anyways, that's Bitcoin. So there's a lot of variations of different blockchains and this and that. So just, you know, keep abreast of the technology. Of course, you're going to hear about NFTs. You're going to hear about the waves. You're going to hear what we're feeling right now. What we're experiencing is last year we had the big hype up where everybody got on board, all the celebrities, and all of a sudden you see things start crashing. So, you know, it's the hype, right? And Bitcoin has always followed a 4-year cycle, and in 2018, the government tried to hold down the value of Bitcoin. It was actually stated publicly, right? So when it was pushed down to $3,000, that was literally done purposely, right? So what happened? It went from $3,000 to $69,000, right? And I remember when it was $3,000, nobody believed in it. It was dead yet again, right? All of a sudden, it's back to $69,000, or actually broke for the first time to 69,000. And then of course, it's settling right now about 18,000, 19,000, 20,000. Pump up to 22 or something like that, 21. In the long grand scheme of things, that is going to be considered the store of value, right? It's, you know, um, it's backed by cryptography, backed by immutable, uh, you know. So basically, once it's written on the blockchain, that's it. It's written on the blockchain. You can't go back and reverse that change. You can't go back and reverse that transaction, right? If it was written there 100 years from now, so shall it be, right? Once you maintain that network, and it's been maintained and running for about 13 years more, or something like that. So yeah, it's very exciting times, and QNT is something that I'm actually going to pay close attention to. They are like the APIs. So every software manufacturer has APIs, and these APIs plug into, it's a software sort of thing, right? So the APIs connect to your network, connect to your systems, your software, and you can see things on the dashboard and exchange information. So this is going to be this is all over Web 2. With QNT, you're going to see this being a technology being introduced to connect blockchain to these types of API applications, right? So application interface. Those components need to be integrated into the Web3, and that's where Quant comes in. So Quant is already working with a lot of top banks out there, and I think it's going to be even, more attention being put on it, right? More focus, especially at 2025, 2026. So they're building up right now. So we had a little hype last year. I think it's fair to say that we had a taste of the potential of blockchain and what's potentially to come, right? The magnitude of fiscal profits to be made, right? But before that happens, before the gate is open, the governments need to understand who's involved, how much money are certain players making, or everyone's making, and determine the tax denomination thereafter. That's it, right? It will become commoditized just like any other asset class out there. Same thing with real estate. If you have your income properties, you have to declare that. If you sell it, you make money, you're paying tax on 50% of that or something like that, right? So that's transparent. Or if you sell your stocks, there you go. Same idea, same principle. Now this is going to be applied to the crypto land, but it's a bit elusive at the moment. So regulation needs to come in. So regulation is coming in, and they're taking their time because they don't want to mess things up, which is great. And it will come. So this is your time to educate yourself and spend your Saturday nights learning and seeing what's happening around the world, right? All these interest rates hike, it's going to hurt people. It's going to hurt the economies of the world, and especially come back. And it's already going to hurt the United States, because what's happening is the US dollar has been pumping out of nowhere, and it's going to become the global reserve go-to again, where people and governments of other countries are selling bonds and everything, liquidating to jump into the US dollar. China might be the exception, where they're just trying to liquidate their stuff, but to not condone the US dollar's strength. It's going to be a battle of the fiat money, right? It's going to be a battle of currencies. That's what we're seeing right now. And in light of all of this, what's happening with Bitcoin? It's staying stable at roughly around $20,000 US, which is the high that it was like 5 years ago, right? So it's stabilizing there, right? Could we see a leg down or so? Sure. Because we have Mount Gox, where a lot of people who invested at $600, they're now getting their tokens back, and they're looking at the price that's $18,000, and they're like, oh, you know what? Perhaps I can sell, make some money, right? It's hard times, so sure. Anyways, this is Positive Vibes welcoming you to October. Typically, this has been a green month, and the time will tell whether that is still true or not. But there's a lot of things to be sorted out. There's a lot of things happening in the world, and just maintain focus. So Quant Chainlink is also another one that I invested early in, and that has done well. It went up and it also came back down, but it's stabilizing around $6-7 and maybe even $8. So if we see any leg down in December going into the new year, right, where there could be some lull, that's probably an opportune time that I think I would start looking to pour some money into this market, and then ride out 2023, because I believe risk assets will be something that a lot of institutions will look at in 2023 as, hey, you know what, we've got a year away from the Bitcoin halving, which is a huge deal. The momentum build up for that will happen in about Q4 2023, which is not really far away. It's only a year from now, and you're going to start seeing the heat, the build up, the anticipation, the excitement, right? And that's it. So stay blessed, stay healthy, and keep the love, right? Like and subscribe to 911 Lambo and Cyberchain Technologies. I'm the CEO, Casey, signing out.